back with a very special guest, Alexandria. Alexandria, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to catch up with you.
It has been actually very fun. I really enjoyed it.
Good. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast, Pessimism at its Finest?
Okay, so I'm Alexandria, the host of Pessimism at its Finest, a podcast where I talk about a little bit of everything, but also kind of rant and go on tangents about things that probably don't really matter, like reality TV, pop culture, book I read, just my life in general. So if you want to keep up with me and potentially the times, head on over and listen to an episode. Pessimism at its finest.
I love it. And last time you were on the pod, you were on episode 122 with me. We talked about Jesse James Decker, who is now having a baby, which you broke this news to me. She's one of those celebrities to me that it's like, I know of her. I kind of hate watch, but like, I don't follow her. It's like, I'll just check in every once in a while.
I'm on her Reddit group, JJD and family, so I think I'm a little bit more invested than you, but we all speculated the fourth pregnancy. It's been out, but it's very controversial because Eric has not posted about pregnancy at all. So I think it's a save the marriage baby. So we'll see how things go after, but it's
Yeah,
exciting news.
that's not. Yeah, so you think that he's not stoked that she's preggo again?
No, and I don't think she is either. This is actually the worst she's looked in a pregnancy. And I don't mean dress wise, I mean emotionally. Like she doesn't look like she's
Oh,
enthused at all. She
yeah,
looks, they're not really together. They're normally very touchy-feely. There's not
yeah.
a lot of posts. But before that, shortly before, she was traveling a lot without him. So I really do think this was a save the marriage baby. But let's see if it actually works.
Oh my gosh, wild times.
Yeah.
And we also talked about Jennifer Lopez. She had new music out at the time, and we're about to get her biopic.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Let's see. Okay, I'm excited to see that. Let's see how much Ben and Jen we get in that.
Yeah, well, apparently Ben Affleck is one of the, I think, producers, or maybe he makes a cameo. So his fingerprints will be on it in some way.
He's a good producer, so I think it will turn out well. I'll give him
I
that.
I hope so because the trailer was a little weird. The concept is a little fantastical. It was giving a like cats a little bit, or I don't know, like just kind of like weird musical vibes. So, but I'm like, you're right. He is a good producer. Like I think he's a good actor too, but like I feel like his writing and producing is actually like where he really shines.
That's what he's won awards for, the writing and producing mainly. So I think anything he writes and produces, I enjoy. Anything he's starred in, I haven't 100% enjoyed, which is a controversial take. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
not a
agree
huge
though.
Ben fan, but I have to say, if he wrote it and he directed it and produced it, it's great.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's weird how that works out
Yeah.
sometimes.
We all have talents.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So today we're gonna talk about the Barbie movie, and it getting quote unquote snubbed at the Oscars. The Britney and Justin like update. Justin released new music. There was like this upset by Britney fans. We're gonna talk about the hard launch of Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid, and then some Super Bowl updates. And then Alexandria is going to nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week and share her This Week in Petty. So, did you watch the Barbie movie?
Oh, yes, I did. And I dressed up in pink.
Oh my gosh, me too. Did you enjoy it? I feel like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, I wasn't like, this is now, like, it definitely was my personality for like a month, but like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm thinking about this all the time. Like, this has like changed my life.
Okay. I loved the Barbie movie. I was saying hi Barbie and hi Ken to everybody for a long time. It did become my personality. And I think that the monologues in the film, especially the ending, I thought the ending was really impactful. So I did enjoy it. However, it wasn't Academy Award worthy. I don't think it was.
100%. This is the interesting part, I think. And the weird part about award shows that, like, I don't think I'm even the best person to share this, but what I've gleaned from the internet is like, this was like the highest grossing movie of the year, this and Oppenheimer. So it's like, I feel like they should, or at least people think they should rule the award season. But in terms of like Was it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Was it the best movie I saw this year? I've seen like 3 movies, so I cannot even tell you. But it was nominated for 8 Oscars. So Ryan Gosling for Best Supporting Actor, America for Best Supporting Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, Best Original Song twice for I'm Just Ken, What Am I Made For? And so people were upset because Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director. Margot Robbie was not nominated for Best Actress. And then I guess it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. It was just nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. And I think that that's where people have problems, because I think people assume, I guess, money at the box office equals Best Picture nominee.
I think a couple of things. If we're going to talk about the quality of acting, Ryan Gosling carried a little bit more than Margot Robbie, because Margot Robbie played Barbie fantastically. Like, I'm not going to negate that, but the character who had actually a growth trajectory, like kind of like a peak and a valley, and who had more discovery was Ken.
And America Ferrer's character.
Yes, and Barbie was kind of the vehicle that got them there, if we think about it. Having said that, and this is going to be controversial, I don't think Ryan nor America should be nominated. That's my opinion.
No, I don't think that that's that controversial. I'm happy for America's nomination because I really like her. And I do think her acting was amazing. Like, I think she's an amazing actor. Do I think this role is the best role she's ever played? Absolutely not. She's in way better, way meatier roles in her career. And Ryan Gosling, again, great job as Ken. Loved it. Laughed, cried, whatever. But, like, really? He said, like, oh, like, you're absolutely right, Barbie. Like, I can't even, like, I don't know, think about what he needed compared to, like, the emotional depth that he had to, like, tap into compared to, like, other movies. I'm just like, I don't know if this is it. But then I also don't want to downplay comedic actors and stuff. Like, I feel like there's so much to discuss around this topic that I don't really know what the best answer is.
But I will say I agree. I agree that Greta Gerwig should have been nominated for Best Director. That was
Yes.
fantastic direction. I don't
Yes.
really think Ryan and America needed the nomination. It was a good adapted screenplay, so I will say that's right. Best costume design is 100% right. Best
Correct.
production design and best original song. It's the acting of itself that I believe it really didn't need to be nominated, because it's a surface level film in that capacity. So, and I look at the Academy for depth in some ways. So I don't know. I think the Academy are films where there's depth, but Greta really did get snubbed, and I'll give her that.
Yes, yes. It's so funny because I feel like you're always like, this is going to be controversial. And then it's just everything I agree with. I'm like, okay, I guess we have the same opinions. But, like, no, like, totally. I think that Greta did an amazing job at directing. But also, it's like, if you look at Greta's career, which I know the Academy Awards just looks at this year, not anything in the past. But it's like, I feel like this is her worst movie that I've seen. Like, I love Lady Bird and Little Women and stuff like that way more than this one. But the other piece about this, I think, is that the Oscars need Greta and Margot Robbie as 2 of the biggest stars in film right now to promote their show. And I think that they use them to promote the show. So it's like, that part also sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of scummy in many ways, but Hollywood can be that way.
Yeah.
And
No, I
so,
know. It's like, what did we expect anything different, you guys? Like,
not really, no. But it does suck. I do think Greta deserved her flowers. I think if you're going to exclude Margot, exclude Ryan too. Even if they had left America and they had like excluded Ryan, I don't think it would look so bad. But she didn't have to win, but you could have nominated her.
yeah, it's funny because I think people also forget, after we all watched Barbie in the summer, people were talking about how Ken's performance was the, like, memorable part.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a little bit of revisionist history that we're saying all of a sudden when that is kind of confirmed, that like we're all shocked, because everyone was saying how he kind of quote unquote stole the show, and we were mad then because it was like, oh my gosh, how did the guy steal the show in like a feminist movie? So his song I'm Just Ken also got nominated. I kind of think that that's almost like a SNL sketch type of song.
Oh no, that was the way that it was actually written. It's three different, I can't remember the exact terminology now, but it was actually, if you look at the sheet music, it's a very intricate song.
Okay, that's good to know because I just don't have that ear.
Yeah, no, it was well done. Really was well done. And the transitions were, it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard, okay, Queen?
Yes, yes. Bohemian Rhapsody?
It was kind of done in that kind of style.
Right.
So
Okay.
So that is this that it's kind of, it was well done. I thought it was really well done. What Am I Made For? I did not like that song at all. But that could just be me.
I don't like love maybe like the production on it, but like I like the lyrics and the sentiments and stuff like that. So but it just makes me like cry, and like it's not a song that I like want to listen to because I don't want to like think about those types of things.
I I was just listening and I'm not a huge Billie Eilish fan, and I think that's
Mhm.
the problem. I think I only like one song by her, but I was never enamored with her. So I think that listening to it I was just incredibly bored.
Mhm.
And I wanted to see Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice and Aqua get nominated. I'm joking.
Yeah,
That's
they should have been nominated. No, but like actually that was the song that I was like singing more. Like
I really want.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or Dua Lipa? Let's just
Yeah.
dance
No.
the night away. Come
Yeah,
on.
even Pink by Lizzo, like I would have understood, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's
The
so
Academy
funny.
loves Billy. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, what did you think about just like the absolute meltdown the internet had about it?
I personally just didn't. I understood where they were coming from because she's the star of the film. But then my first thing was, how many films did we have this year with female leads? Because
Right.
that also determined the pool. So I was a little bit like, she was good. Does she care? And if she, I just don't think it was Margot Robbie's Academy Award winning role anyway.
I
And she
know.
could be nominated, she couldn't, but I wasn't too upset, and I just didn't understand what where the internet was coming from, but the internet likes to melt down.
I feel like I Tanya it could have been her Oscar
Yeah.
winning movie, but
She has
uh,
others.
yeah, totally. And she will have others in her career. Like, this isn't career ending for her. Like, she'll be just fine. The last thing I'll say is that I actually did predict this. I did a 2024 pop culture predictions episode on the What I Will Say Patreon. So you can go check that out over there. But I did say, and I felt like at the time this was kind of a layup prediction because I could see it already happening. But I said, I think that Ken will be the star of the award season in the Barbie verse, and that people are going to be upset. And then, like, that exact same thing happened. So,
You foresaw the future. You have psychic abilities in pop
probably.
culture.
Yeah, and only in pop culture.
For pop culture crystal ball.
Yeah, yes, yes. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about Britney and Justin. So, Justin Timberlake released new music for the first time since I think 2018, if you don't count any of his Trolls soundtracks, which like I don't personally. And the song is called Selfish, and he's been all over TV promoting it. He played a show in Memphis. It was a free show, and then he was on SNL as the musical guest. What do you think of the song Selfish?
So I listened to it once. The lyrics were kind of indicative of the Britney drama in the way that I listened to it. I think it was a good song. I mean, it's written and produced by with Louis Bell. I think he's done a lot of music for a couple big artists recently, but it didn't resonate with me in any way. I think we're over the Justin era. I think he needs Timbaland back. This
Oh
is
my
just
God,
not,
yes.
that was a duo. That was a really good
Yes.
duo.
Yes. Throw Nelly Furtado in there and like
Yeah.
now we're cooking with gas. Yeah, I couldn't agree more that like I listened to it and I was like, hey, I'll like probably won't listen to it again. But
No.
it wasn't like atrocious. I don't like Justin Timberlake as a person, but I do like his music. Not I feel like deep cuts, but I like his popular songs. And I didn't think that this like led with a bang. Like for this to be the comeback song, you want something a little spicier.
He needed Timbaland. That's number one. Number two, I think a bunch of artists have that album and it's very hard for them to follow it up. Like Hozier has his title album. And mind you, the one that he just released was probably the closest to that. But I don't think he's going to replicate the success of Take Me to Church. Now, where Justin Timberlake is concerned, while his best songs were on his first album, Justified, Future Sex Love Sounds is a body of work, is his best album from start to finish. He had an orchestra, he had rappers, he had techno beats, and it was just done superbly. I don't even think he's had, not even, was it Suit and Tie was the album? Was that
Yep.
song after? It was good, but that album wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been able to replicate that. So I don't think anything he's going to do after that album is going to be as great, but he has the potential to go there.
Totally.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, like he's the Prince of Pop, and this was not giving Prince of Pop. This was giving like you're shopping at the grocery store and there's like background music. At least I
Yes.
thought, but just like you, I listened to it once because I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of a stream because he has been receiving backlash for many years, a lot from the Britney Spears memoir and their relationship and like new details that came to light about that, as well as obviously the Janet Jackson Super Bowl controversy.
Oh yeah.
And so the Britney Army decided to stream her song Selfish, which is a bonus track deep cut off of the album Femme Fatale that was released 13 years ago. Great album, by the way. And it literally went to number one on the iTunes charts.
You know what? Go Britney.
I
That's all I
know.
had to say.
No, seriously, this is fucking funny.
I enjoy that because she said she's not releasing any more music. So as long as she goes in the charts again for something, I'm excited because I love her.
No, that's so true. I don't want to put pressure on her to release new stuff if that's not where she's at. So to just give her this, again, bump of like success, I think is just so funny. And because Selfish doesn't have a music video, Britney Army, myself included, I was streaming all weekend, made Oops, I Did It Again a number one on the iTunes music video charts, beating out both like of Justin's, new music. So
Wow.
yeah, it's just so funny. It reminds me a lot of the BTS Army where they do kind of like trolly stuff on the internet for, the people that they ride for. And I don't know, it was just really fun. I was having a good time this weekend.
First of all, I'm happy that she's beating out Justin in this way. It's like karma for him, and I know he hates it. Number two, I did not know who BTS was until they had a pop-up store at Eaton Center in Toronto. So, and everyone's like, you don't know who they are. And I'm like, who are they? But
That's so funny. Unfortunately, I basically only know the song Better, but I do have it on my like list of things that I want to do, and that's explore K-pop because I feel like would really like that genre of music.
I just know Gangnam Style and Psy. That was my introduction
To
to K-pop.
K-pop.
And I think that's where it stopped. But
I
I
feel like
mean,
that was a lot of people's introductions to K-pop.
what? It's a
That's
great
so
song though.
yeah, still rings true. Like what, 10, 15 years later.
Oh yeah.
So this was where it kind of got a little weird, but Britney Spears posted on Instagram a screenshot of the SNL performance of Justin and Jimmy Fallon from this past weekend, and she posted, I want to apologize for some of the things I wrote in my book. If I offended any of the people I genuinely care about, I'm deeply sorry. It's so good. Oh, and then referring to the picture of Jimmy and Justin, it's so good. And how come every time I see Justin and Jimmy together, I laugh so hard? But then she deleted it. So I feel like this might have been a way to tell her fans, like, hey guys, like, I don't need you to, like, you know, disrupt the music charts to, like, screw over this guy. Because I think she's a sweetheart. I don't think she wants, like, bad things to happen to people, regardless of, like, things they might have done to her. And I like that quality about her. Like, I do really like that quality about her. But I was like, girl, like, get him. Like, sink his ship. Like, who gives a fuck? He's, like, a loser. Like...
I think she's civil with Justin. I think she wants to be. Sometimes she does her dance videos to his music, which is
Yes.
right. I think she genuinely is not upset. She just wanted to tell her story, and he happened to be a part of it. And she didn't want him to get any backlash. And also, I think she has a lot of anxiety. And so
Yes.
I think she wanted to be nice, and then she got anxious and deleted it, or I think that's what it was. But she really does seem like a sweet, sweet person who's had a really rough time. But I do like that Justin's getting some karma. So,
Me too.
you know,
No, it's really feeding my soul, but I completely agree. Like, I think she's nervous that she would, you know, maybe not that she got canceled for her, you know, like, mental breakdown in 2007, 2008, but, like, it was mostly, you know, hate. And I feel like she would be worried that that would happen again. And I think that you're right about the way that she spoke about Justin. I think it was a lot more neutral than we probably interpreted it. Like, I think we put maybe a lot of the ill feelings
yeah.
on him because we just want to support Britney. I think she pointed out things that she was upset about, obviously, with, like, him playing guitar in the hospital. Black scent she talked about, and then there might have been another thing that she's specifically talked about with Justin that I can't think of, but, like, I feel like because we don't like him, we were, like, really kind of...
We're mean. We were
Yeah,
mean, and
we
we
were
personalized
projecting.
it. We
Yes,
did.
yes.
We did. Definitely speaking. But I think it was neutral. It was well written. But again, and if he was so upset, he would have charged, not charged, he would have filed a lawsuit. That's what he would have done if he was super upset. He's the type.
Yeah, and he didn't really say anything, where he has said things in the, like, responded to controversy in the past. So I'm not sure what his kind of move is here, but I think just, like, dropping a new song without doing any type of, like, good
Yeah.
PR stories just didn't work this time.
I don't think he cares. And honestly, his popularity is waning. And the unfortunate thing is, since Britney's book, his popularity really waned, really hit him in a negative way, even though she wasn't trying to be. But people were very upset from the breakup. So I don't think it was going to get any better. We'll see.
This is what I want to do. I want to grab his shoulders, I want to shake him a little bit, and I want to say, reunite with NSYNC. Like,
Hmm.
get over your fucking ego. If you want to be the Prince of Pop again, you have to. Like, I feel like his only option, it may be Timbaland, number one, to reunite with NSYNC.
I mean, look at the Backstreet Boys. Look how well it is going for them. But I think that he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to at all. The rest of the boys are on board. But I think he was a princess from the start. Another thing, and I don't know if people realize this, but I think his name's Max Martin.
Yes.
He wrote the song Love. What's that Backstreet? I Want It That Way.
Mm-hmm.
He also wrote Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time if you're curious ever. But he wrote majority of the Backstreet Boys songs. So they never really had to come together to write. It was to come together to perform. While Justin Timberlake wrote a lot of NSYNC songs and he wrote with a lot of the group. So it was a different kind of working relationship. And so I wonder if he just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi for it anymore. While the Backstreet Boys are just more of, they're just performers. They're solely performers.
Right. Right,
So
right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that there was a lot of back and forth between him and JC Chazé,
yes.
because I think that they had ideas for the group and neither, like, they wanted to be the center of attention. And I don't think Backstreet Boys had it the same way. Like, I definitely think that there was maybe some of the band members that people liked more, but I think with NSYNC there was more like turmoil. But like, boy, I should call up my friend Kelly from Beyond the Blinds. Like, I feel like I'm not as well versed in boy band lore as some people are.
No, I am. I would like a One Direction reunion because I started liking them later in life, like last year. But I'll
What brought you to that?
actually, I got TikTok for a month, then deleted it
Mm,
because it was too over consuming. And I
mm.
heard As It Was, and I said, this is a good song. And then I kind of got into um One Direction through Harry Styles.
Yeah, yeah,
And I prefer One Direction to Harry Styles, but I'm also a
yeah.
huge a huge Backstreet Boy fan. So I love any boy band info. So there's that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so we'll see if there's any other, like, I don't know, not falling out, but like repercussions of the Britney Army getting Selfish to number one, because we have to see like what the Billboard charts say and stuff like that. This was again just the iTunes charts, but funny nonetheless. Okay, let's talk about Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper. Do you like this pairing?
I kind of like it. I feel that Bradley Cooper's kind of chaotic, but he's settled down in recent years. I also feel like Gigi, and this is my controversial thought. I feel like she's getting ready to transition out of modeling full time and heading more into different realms. And I think being with Bradley is going to be good for her as she makes that transition. Also, having an older man in her life kind of looks good, especially as she's in motherhood. I don't think Bradley has any kids, right?
She has obviously her kid Kai with the aforementioned One Direction member Zayn Malik.
Yes. So I think that this is interesting. I think they're both beautiful people, so they'll look good together.
Bradley Cooper is 49 and Gigi Hadid is 28. So they have a 21-year age gap, which
Oh,
like no, literally, oh, because this is the thing is like aesthetically obviously they look beautiful together because they are both really hot people. I also think Gigi Hadid, like, she is a mom, and like I think that that does mature people. So I'm like, okay, that's like maybe not as weird as like some of these like Leo age gap things, but I'm like, can you just imagine, like, Gigi is friends with Taylor Swift and Kendall Jenner and stuff like that. Could you imagine Bradley fucking Cooper hanging out with those girlies?
okay. So the thing is, first of all, that I didn't realize he was that old because he doesn't look his age. So good
No.
on him. Good on him. I thought he was in his 30s, actually. I don't know why I don't know why I didn't realize how old he was. That is a big age gap, but my friends have recently kind of explored that age gap. And so they do have their boyfriends with us for Gigi's age and kind of okay.
Nice. Okay. Interesting.
Sometimes I think it's awkward if you don't have youth to your age. You don't feel youthful in your age. But I mean it is weird, but not as weird as the Leo age gap. But
Yeah.
it is weird. It's weird when you think about it. But I think if you sit in it for a while, and especially in Hollywood, it's not that weird.
And I think the other piece is that it's not a trend.
No.
And I want to correct myself. Bradley does have a child,
Oh,
daughter named Leah or Leia with Irina Shayk. And so I
oh.
also want to say, so Irina Shayk, I think she is 33. So that was the other thing that I was thinking about, is that like it's not like Leo where it's like a slew of 25-year-olds. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is a controversial take because I'm not a, like, I don't like age gap. I think it's weird in like 99.9% of cases. So
Is as I said, I hated them until I no, I still don't love them, but
yeah,
I am more open to them because I've sat in areas with them. So in some cases I'm like, this is not it at all. And in some cases I'm like, okay, I can see how this dynamic works for you.
totally. Totally.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And they kind of hard launched their relationship this week because they've been seen together throughout the fall as early as October. But on the 25th of January, they had some paparazzi photos taken of them in London, England. So immediately I'm like, this is set up because there's, the paparazzi doesn't work in London, I don't believe, like it does in New York and LA, where this could be a random sighting. And then the other thing that was sus about them hanging out is she was wearing her brand, Guest in Residence, which is a clothing line, and he was wearing Louis Vuitton, which he is an ambassador of. And so
Wow.
I was like, hey, is this relationship fully fake? Because we've gotten maybe say 5 spottings of them out since October. But then when we do, it's getting paparazzi shots promoting your brand. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
wonder if they're just like, hey, we're 2 hot single people. This could be really good PR for us.
It could be that too. And I know a lot of celebrities do that. So I could see it. Also, maybe one brand reached out to another and they made an arrangement together. But I think especially brands like Louis Vuitton want to get as many eyes as they can on their ambassadors wearing their clothes. And this is good for Gigi as well. So I think it could totally be that. But it also could just be a regular relationship. But you're right,
Totally.
paparazzi do not work in the same way in London. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's like they must have hired them because they wouldn't just be roaming the streets and then
No.
happen upon them. So they must have called and set it up. But yeah, you're totally right about Gigi. I think this benefits her a lot because she has this new clothing brand, and like you mentioned before that she might be transitioning out of modeling. What would
Yeah.
make sense for her to go into fashion. So it really helps if she's working with, a very serious, very well-regarded movie star, and he's also a fashion
Mm.
boy.
I mean, that does make sense. I can definitely see that. But even if they are dating, I think they'll be cute and they'll be fashionable together and it'll be good PR.
Totally, totally. He was wearing this was the one thing that I was thinking. I was like, I am clearly not fashionable because he was wearing a toque that was blue and the thickest, largest toque. It reminded me of the size of Pharrell's hats that he used to wear.
Oh,
And
those with the top.
yeah, and I was like, why are you wearing this? I'm not loving this look, but I guess I'm just
Oh
not
no.
chic enough.
She looks great. He looks like he just rolled out of bed, put on the first jacket that he saw, plus some. Are those Travis Scott Nikes? I
Are
think those are
they?
Travis Scott Nikes,
He's
actually.
really doing the fashion thing, hey?
Yes, I don't quote me, but I think those are the Travis Scott.
Yeah, he's really going for the fashion stuff. And he also is doing a lot of press for his movie Maestro for the Oscars. I think he's making a run for, best Oscar or best actor in that role. So he needs to be out and about. So yeah, she looks really good in this leather jacket. She's kind of wearing those 90s small framed sunglasses, cute little braid, and he looks like
Just look like she said, I'm coming over, be ready in 5. That's what it looks
and
like.
he spent 2
Yeah,
minutes and he spent
that's
0 of those minutes getting ready. No, truly, he's wearing a pea coat, sneakers, blue camo pants, cargo pants, and again, the largest toque I've ever seen.
well, it's a look for him. It's a look that he
Totally.
enjoys.
Totally. Last question for you. Do you think that they could make their red carpet debut at the Oscars?
I mean, I could see it because Gigi hasn't been on a red carpet in a while. However, this is more of a Met Gala relationship. So I feel like they could hold off until then, let it simmer a bit more, let us talk about it a bit more, but also he does like to have someone on his arm, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That maybe if it's not at the Oscars, we could bank on the Met Gala. That's a really good point. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. So, I don't care about football at all. Do you watch football?
No.
No, Could care less, truly. The Chiefs and the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Again, I'm not following for that reason. I am strictly following it for the Taylor and Travis content because obviously Travis plays for the Chiefs. We've seen Taylor at every game this fall, or like 99% of the games, because this was the game that they needed to win to enter the Super Bowl. There was like tons of press. They stormed the field. And we got some, like, I would say, like, intimate, not BTS, because it wasn't behind the scenes, but, like, we got some more interactions of them kissing and kind of maybe saying I love you. Just a little more of their relationship. What do you think about this?
My goodness gracious. I feel like your fans will not like what I have to say in any capacity or shape or form. So I've actually been a Travis Kelce fan for many years, for over 5 years. I've loved Travis Kelce. I also like Jason Kelce. I was listening to their podcast before Taylor. I was watching Travis when he was with his ex-girlfriend. Like I loved Travis Kelce. So the reason I think that I did not connect with this relationship is that I felt when all of the racism was going towards his ex-girlfriend, I felt that one Instagram story with a black screen could have settled everything. And it was I think watching their entire relationship via Instagram, via interviews, and then the interviews he did about her and the payment issue or the money issues, and then heading into Taylor, and then not even putting out a little bit of a statement to have it stop. It turned me off of Travis. So not Taylor Swift, it turned me off Travis in some ways. So that's why I think the relationship has not hit the way it's supposed to hit to me. Having said that, I like the way they met. I like the fact that he wanted to give her a friendship bracelet. Is it a friendship bracelet? That they do. And then she got wind of it. He's cute. She's cute. So it works out. The feel thing though, maybe because they don't resonate with me, it's cute, but I wasn't enamored by it. I mean, I'm more interested in the Britney Mahomes and Taylor Swift friendship than I am in Travis and Taylor. And I actually do go to Britney Mahomes' page for updates on Taylor and her friendship. So I don't.
That's so funny. I am glad that you're here to keep us in check because we need that. I feel like I am very easily distracted by a few cute kissing pictures. Are you referring to his girlfriend that he met on Catching Kelce? Or is this a different girlfriend?
This is Kayla. No, I don't think he met her on Catching Kelce.
Because I'm really only familiar with his dating history with the winner of the Catching Kelce TV show because I not rewatched it. I watched it for the first time for my Patreon. But he previously dated Kayla Nicole, who is a on-air reporter. Looks like probably, I'm assuming, a sports reporter, sports broadcaster. It looks like she hosts for ESPN, Barstool, among other media outlets. So, like, obviously killing it. And she's been putting out, I feel like, frequent statements, I would say, about how she's been treated after their breakup.
Yeah, it was really bad. If you looked at the comments under her photos, it was really, really, really bad. It's some of the worst racism I've seen in a long time on social media. And that's why I said one statement. Like, he could have posted a blacked out Instagram story and basically been like, stop. I don't stand for this. But I think it would have quieted down. But it was bad. She had to deactivate her Instagram. It's finally starting to settle down now, but people still comment on it. And it was a lot about how Taylor had more money, how Taylor was the upgrade, and then other things that were quite derogatory. But I felt really bad for her, in complete honesty. I just don't think anybody deserves that.
No.
And it really did taint my view on Travis, plus the whole, like, she basically said that she had to pay for a lot of things in the relationship. And then he went on a podcast and essentially confirmed that. He said, if she needed some food, obviously I would help her get food. And I'm just saying.
Yeah, so he forced her to pay half of everything it's like he's a multi-million dollar
Yeah.
athlete in the tens of millions of dollars, I'm assuming. And like we have no pay parity. Black women in the States make like what 60 cents to the dollar of a white man. Like this is pretty brutal.
It was awful. And then the cheating rumors and all of that. So, and it got to a point where she had to leave him. It's not that he left her because things got so bad in the relationship. It was unfortunate. She left him once. He came
Mhm.
crawling back, and then she left
Mhm.
him again, but he didn't come crawling back the last time.
Mhm.
So, and then now we have the whole Taylor Swift relationship. So, and the good thing is he can't really play with Taylor in the way that he played with Kayla because the Swifties will come after him and he'll get a
Mhm.
whole album written about him and his life will be over.
Literally, yeah. But isn't that so gross to think that it's like we won't listen to Kayla Nicole, but we will listen if Taylor Swift ever said something?
Oh yeah. But it's also power, right? It's not, it's the power and influence. The Swiftie, she's got her squad.
She
But
does.
and there's rumors about the fact that they could potentially get married. Did you hear that? Like she's the one.
Yeah, it really seems like people are pushing that they would get engaged like and married pretty quickly. I honestly have been a big proponent of this because I think that a lot of times people will date, throughout their late 20s, early 30s, a partner for a long time. And then I've just seen it, I feel like, in my life and with celebs where you break up with that person and then the next person you date just like happens to be your, forever person.
Well, yeah, I feel that that could be the case here 100%. Taylor looks so in love with him. She looks so happy. She just stares at him with all this love. And I was thinking, I'm like, he's not looking at her like that, but he's also very sweaty and he cut his elbow, so he could be in pain.
Yeah, she's probably like so overwhelmed. And she was like, her eyes were like not glazed over, but like misty with tears. Like it was the most emotion I've seen out of her. Like the only other emotion I've really seen out of her when she's like crying and stuff like that or getting misty eyed is like when she's talking about her fans at like
Yeah.
Eras tours and stuff like that, like the shows that she plays. So like to see this amount of emotion over a person, not like an award or her fans or her family is something I don't think we've really seen before. So that's what keeps me interested. They're also just a very good looking
Yes,
couple.
they are. They're very, as I said, no, this is not a knock against Taylor at all. This is all my Travis negativity, but they're so cute together. But I need to know how her red lipstick stayed just perfect.
I was just thinking that.
How?
I
Like,
don't know. She must do like a powder and a setting spray afterwards or something. Like I don't get how throughout all of her shows and through the rain and the sweat and the spraying champagne that it has stayed at all these football games.
yeah, but I'm excited to see if they get married. They're the hot topic right now, and I'm kind of glad that the Chiefs went to are going back to the Super Bowl because we'll see a Super Bowl Taylor. Nothing better than if she was actually doing the Super Bowl this year. And
This is the next best thing that we have that
yes,
she'll be there in some capacity, but yeah, I'm really excited to see that. I liked looking at all of her looks. I liked like she was wearing a bracelet that said TNT for Travis and Taylor. Like it's just
oh
been
wow, she's in
fun
love.
content. Yeah, she's LOVE like in love.
Isn't the Karma's the guy on the Chiefs? Is that what the
Yeah, coming straight home to me. Yeah, truly, truly. Okay, let's wrap up with our two segments. This is the part of the show where our guest is going to nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week, someone in the media who did something petty and it was iconic. Alexandria, who are you nominating this week?
I'm gonna nominate my favorite people to hate, Nick Viall and Natalie Joy, for their quick turn on Tom Sandoval.
It's so fascinating.
No, Nick Viall is someone like Jesse James Decker that I love to hate. I will not unfollow him because I love to hate him. And Natalie Joy, I loved to hate her until she got pregnant and then she turned on Nick with the pregnancy hormones and I loved her. Now I just love her.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because again, I follow them in a arm's length way.
So I actually did not press the follow button until they were in New York City at the beginning of her pregnancy and she asked him for a donut. And he said, I'll get you donuts. Don't worry about it, promising her the most gourmet donut in the entire world. And then he takes her to Dunkin' Donuts. And she goes on an Instagram tangent and she is just so upset. But she was just roasting him the entire beginning of the pregnancy. He did a podcast episode about how he may not like his kid. She checked him really quickly. He made comments about how he was basically gloating about how he got her pregnant on the first try and she had to check him very quickly. So even though she's significantly younger than him, and this is the type of age gap where it's problematic because he started dating her at 19 and he was 38, that's a problematic age gap right there. But she has just been checking him left, right, and center, and I gained a respect for her that I didn't have before. And it's on things that matter. So I'm team Natalie Joy, but I think I dislike Nick more now. So there's
That
that.
is so wild. No, I love this. I love this so much.
But so Nick did the show Special Forces. If you haven't seen it, personally, I haven't. I've only watched clips of Tyler Cameron. But he basically became friends with Jojo Siwa, Tyler Cameron, and Tom Sandoval. And he had Tom Sandoval on an episode of his podcast. They were buddy buddy.
Yeah.
But Tom Schwartz was speaking negatively about Tom Sandoval, and Nick and Natalie basically agreed with him. Natalie reposted negative things about Tom, and I really thought that was a petty turn of events. He was also speaking poorly about Tom in general, and I just thought it was very like classless, it was tacky, and frankly very petty, which we know Nick to be.
Totally. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's because he was late. Because Tom and Tom were supposed to do the podcast together. And then Tom was an hour late, and then they were talking shit about Tom before he arrived to the studio.
Yeah, yeah,
And like I just think so it's like you're going to be his friend on this show and like yeah, play buddy buddy with Tom and Tom, but then like absolutely air I feel like use him to like win over audiences.
yeah.
Because the cool thing to do right now is hate on Tom Sandoval, which is fair. He did an awful thing that no one is excusing him for. But to be a fake friend to him and then brutalize him in the public eye is so weird.
Yeah, but that's Nick. That's what Nick does to everybody. That's why Nick and Chris Harrison are not friends anymore. That's why he's not as close to the Bachelor franchise anymore because he went on a whole petty tangent after he didn't become the host.
Right.
So, you know, I think that Nick, he might be 42, heading on 43, but he has the maturity of his 24-year-old fiance. And I think that he's just not, I get that he has a top podcast, but he's just not a good person. He's super petty, always been. But I just didn't like how they did this. And plus the reposting negative things about Tom Sandoval, I didn't really like that. That was
Yeah.
really tacky.
Plus, it's like, let's talk about what he did with Ariana and like the way he treats women on
Oh, yes.
VPR. Who gives a fuck that he was late? Says the girl that's always late. But like, like I don't know. I was like, stick to the point. Like, talk about what he did was wrong. Like which they did, I think, get into that in the episode. I don't think they gave him like a free pass per se, but I am curious to see what Tom Sandoval thinks after this because I'm assuming he thought Nick was his friend.
I think he did. I really think he did. And also, LA traffic is bad. Give him some grace.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think he did think Nick was his friend, one of his only celebrity friends. So this is going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen there. But yeah, I'll give it to Nick and Natalie.
Last thing I want to say about them is I'm just so annoyed that their podcast is so successful.
He's a very good interviewer. He's a
Yeah.
very good interviewer. I have to give him that. I don't really like his episodes where he gives advice,
Yeah.
but
Fair enough.
very good interview. If you guys want to listen to a controversial interview, listen to the Tyler Cameron interview and we can comment or guess how you feel about how she responded to Tyler Cameron, how Natalie did. It's a little bit controversial. That's a
Oh, I'm
controversial one.
interested because I obviously love Tyler Cameron with all my being. But
He handled
yeah.
himself so well.
Oh,
Natalie
interesting.
Natalie did not, and Nick just kind of sat there, so it was kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I think Natalie was enamored by his beauty as well. So
That's relatable. Yeah, I think like you're right that I will give Nick that he's a good interviewer. I think he's like an engaging like, conversationalist, but yeah, it just gives the worst sexist advice. Like and like stop giving dating advice when you were a perpetual bachelor till 38 and then wed a child bride. Like I don't know. I just like
I have so much to say about Nick Viall and that, and I could do a whole episode on the
you
sexist things he
should.
said.
Yeah.
He is so like not controversial, but he's probably the one celebrity I love to hate to follow because he
Yeah.
drives me absolutely nuts.
Me too.
And
Me too. And that's why I'm annoyed that his podcast is so successful. Like that he's getting. I'm like stick to fucking talking about like BTS of reality TV. Like we don't need the advice or like the Gypsy Rose Blanchard interviews or whatever. But like I don't know. He's a
oh,
smart guy. Like He's smart and
right.
he obviously knows. He's one of the people outside of the franchise that I feel like has moved past. Like him and Rachel Lindsay
Yes.
and there's probably a few others, Caitlin Bristow, like that have moved past being known for just The Bachelor. And
Yeah.
so, like, we have to give him some credit in that regard.
I also want to end on this note. Do you know her name Trisha?
Yeah, yeah.
So she did a podcast episode and she basically outed Nick and Natalie's relationship and the age gap and how uncomfortable she felt being in the room with them when she found out. And it's the first time I heard her actually speak that deeply about anything. And she was kind of freaked out and she was being very serious. So if you want an actual good recap of the relationship, Trisha Patti has actually gave the best one that is available. So
Right. And that's on her podcast, Just Trish.
yes, I think it was
Interesting.
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay, cool. Definitely gonna check that out. Okay, let's wrap up with This Week in Petty, where our guests will share a story about something that happened to them in their real lives that they are petty about. What are you petty about this week?
So I don't know if I'm petty or if I'm upset with my own self, but I'm a huge WWE fan. And for my birthday, I wanted to watch the Royal Rumble in a bar. And I sat down next to this guy, he's British. And if I had to write on paper everything I've ever wanted in a man, it would probably be this man. He was tall, he was successful, he had a condo downtown Toronto, he had a
So
house
rich? Like
house back in England, and he loved WWE. And then he's also going to WrestleMania too, and I'm going this year. And so he said, "Can I have your number?" So I'm like, "Great." I'm 2 pints of beer down, put my number in his phone, and I don't click save. So he hugs me as I'm leaving. He's like, "I'll text you." I leave. And then I said, "Wait, I never saved that number." I just handed him back the phone and didn't save it. So I don't think it actually went into his phone.
petty about iPhone settings. Okay, literally, can you like please go on? I know you don't have TikTok, but like please go on TikTok or Twitter or something and put out like a like, hey gals, like help me find this man. Like I like we had a meet cute and then like internet do your like search or something like that. I'm dead. But I guess so there's a possibility that you could go to this event and bump into him.
There's like 60,000 people there.
But if it's your soulmate,
Which actually, that would be actually epic if I
that would
met
be
him.
better than just meeting at a bar. It's like, yeah, then how serendipitous if you don't connect now and then you bump into him there. You have to go to like every event, like start to finish, like maybe make a sign that says like hello, like British man from Toronto or whatever his name is, like remember me. Like slide into my DMs.
I have to add this in is so I entered a raffle just out of fluke and I was saying I don't think I'm gonna win. He said today could be your lucky day. And I put on my jacket to leave. I feel someone grab my jacket and turn me around. I'm like, what's up? He said, you know you want $100, right? Where are you going? So I was about to walk out without my $100 if it wasn't for this man. I said,
No, I'm sold. Like, this is it for you.
I was like, how do you know I want $100? He's like, have you not been following the raffle? I'm like, no. He's like, have you? He's like, yeah, you're number 15. I was like, he didn't even know.
This is the romance novel that you can write in about your fucking life.
And I'll come on Ready to Be Romance.
Yes, yeah, we can discuss it. No, I'm dead. That's amazing. That's amazing. I and all of the Petty Betties will put out positive vibes and thoughts that you will reconnect with this man at some point. Maybe he'll listen. Maybe he's listening right now.
You know what? Let's cross our fingers. And if I do bump into him, I'll give an update.
Please. Oh my God, I would die. I wish that on somebody. Like, you know, when you're like your friends like on a airplane or like they're taking a vacation and you're like, this is it for them. Like, this is it for you.
I'm like, I was so, why did I not press save?
I know.
You
were 2 pints in.
I was, and I was so focused on the show that I'm like, he's not going anywhere. He's right beside me. And he was giving me like little micro touches too. I'm like, oh, you like me. You think I'm cute. I love this.
And a hug out the door, like hug, line, and sinker.
I know. Anyway, that's my petty.
Anyways, we will put those positive vibes out there for you. And
thank you.
Yeah, we wish you all the best. And you'll have to come back on if there's a part 2 to this story.
I'll update.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, this is the time to make one of those TikToks that's like, okay, girlies, like help me out. And then someone will be like, that's my brother, or like, that's my friend's best friend, like here's his ad or whatever.
Well, let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I'm not confident enough for that. But
no, literally, I would never do that either. So I don't know why I'm telling you to do that. Okay, Petty Betty's way in. What should Alexandria do? Like, we need the next steps.
Let me know.
Yeah, please. Okay, this was super, super fun. Can you let the listeners know where they can find you and anything else you want to plug?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at Pessimism at its finest. You can also find me on Twitter at Pessimism Pod. You can just find me on anywhere you listen to podcasts, Pessimism at its finest. And if you want to see what I'm reading.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Alexandria for joining me on today's episode. We have a few updates for some stories we cover because we record obviously a few days before the episode gets released. Justin Timberlake, when he was performing this past weekend, he made a statement and he said, or like in like one of the intros to one of his songs, he said, I want to apologize to, dramatic pause, absolutely fucking no one. That's wild. That's a wild fucking response, to be honest. And so Britney posted on her Instagram that she is also not sorry. And then she privated her account. So major drums, but like fuck, wild PR move for Justin Timberlake. This is the time you need to look sympathetic, and you just aren't doing that at all. Over on Patreon, I just covered a bunch of trending topics with Cam from What I Will Say, which was very, very fun. Covered some stuff that I haven't covered on this show. And I want to shout out Cassidy C and Miri for being amazing patrons. Thank you so, so much for supporting my work in this way. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you both have the best week. Over on my other podcast, Ready to Be Romanced, I am covering The Duke and I with Haley Strong, and we cover Bridgerton Season 1. So even if you didn't read the romance novel that Bridgerton is based off of, come for the fun TV show chit chat. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I hope you're safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.